All right. All praises. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That's who the word in calls Jesus Christ.
All right.
I am Shatar Debaka Ward.
It's your boy Zam Yar.
Man, and we're back. We're back. I know the people miss us, man. We're back at it with another Tuesday class. Y'all got to understand, people, man. We had a lot going on this week.
Man.
A very lot going on.
A whole lot going on.
But that's what you call the Feast of First Fruits, man. We had War Angel Weekend, man. All praises to the Most High, man. We got to see brothers from all over the country.
Had a great time with you brothers, man.
Yeah, sure. All over the country. Not also in the country, but outside the country. We had the brothers from Puerto Rico. We had the brothers from Mexico. We
Israel.
We even had the brothers from Toronto. And you already know I was playing that Kendrick Lamar, man. You already know how it was going down, man. So it was such a great, great festivities, man. Matter of fact, man, how the people out there doing, man? How y'all doing, man? Matter of fact, put some ones in the chat if you can hear us, man.
That's right.
Put some ones in the chat so you can let us know. Let us know you can hear us. Let me get some ones. Because I could have said all that for no reason.
You know?
Okay, all praises. At least we got one. That means somebody heard me. All praises to the Most High, man. But as you know, man, this is the Tuesday class. And then, you know, my brother got something for y'all, man. So,
yeah.
All praises to the Most High. Go ahead, King.
I just, I be channel surfing on YouTube, man. I go check out different Israelite groups, channels, and different Christian groups just to see, what is it they spewing this week, And something I always think is interesting when people bring it up is they love to say, well, the church is his people now because you guys rejected him, so you was rejected, and you like we're done away with. But if you read the scriptures, number one, the people who rejected Christ was not the Israelites as a whole. It was the leadership, right? It was the builders, right? The stone that the builders rejected, right? So I just started looking up different versions and putting together a little something just to deal with who actually rejected them, and then we'll deal with, if that rejection got us done away with, right? So let's see. Let's start with because bottom line is many people during Christ's ministry, during Yahweh Shai's ministry, believed, and you see that over and over in the scriptures as well. So I'm gonna start with let's start with Matthew 4:23.
All right. So this is the book of Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 4.
Matter of fact, I'll do it because I'm going to go from the GNT, so I'll get this one for sure.
All right, go ahead.
All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 23 in the GNT, and it says, Jesus went all over Galilee, teaching in the synagogues, preaching the good news about the kingdom, and healing people who had all kinds of disease and sickness. It says, the news about him spread through the whole country of Syria, so that people brought to him all those who were sick. So it's telling you right there, for them to bring people to him that was sick, they believed. They believed that he was who he said he was. They believed that he was the person it was prophesied to come, right? It said, brought to him all those who were sick, suffering from all kinds of diseases and disorders, people with demons and epileptics and paralyzed people, and Jesus healed them all. It says, large crowds followed him from Galilee and the 10 towns from Jerusalem, Judea, and the land on the other side of the Jordan, right? So it's telling you right here, large crowds followed him. Large crowds came to meet him wherever he went. Why? It wasn't because they didn't believe. It's because they thought he could actually do some things for them and heal them and heal them from whatever their affliction was, right? So, and it tells you right, it says he went from Galilee in the 10 towns, from Jerusalem, Judea, and the land on the other side of the Jordan. So if you look at Israel on the map, that's a lot of territory covered that people was bringing him. They're sick and they're wounded and they, their relatives with all kind of issues, right? And he was healing them, right? Even, putting demons out of people, everything, right? So from here, I'm going to go to Matthew 9:18, right? And it says, and this is the GNT as well. It says, while Jesus was saying this, a Jewish official came to him, knelt down before him, and said, "My daughter has just died." Right? So here we have a Jewish official, right? Right? One of those. So even when you talk about the leaders, this would be one of the leaders. So even you can't even say all the leaders didn't believe, but a certain faction of the leadership and the rulers of Jerusalem and of Israel didn't believe. But you can't even say because even when he's talking to Nicodemus is actually a Jewish official as well, right? Official of the Jews as well, right? So it says, Matthew 9:18. While Jesus was saying this, a Jewish official came to him, knelt down before him, and said, "My daughter has just died, but come and place your hands on her, and she will live." So he didn't ask him, "Hey, if you do this, you think she'll live?" He said, "Do this," and he knew what was going to happen. Like, just touch her and she'll be healed. You can't feel like that and have a faith like that without believing that this is the man who was prophesied to come, right? It says, "But my daughter has just died, but come and place your hands on her, and she will live." So Jesus got up and followed him, and his disciples went along with him. It says, a woman who had suffered from severe bleeding for 12 years came up behind Jesus and touched the edge of his cloak, which we know that's talking about the fringes of his garment, right? When you read the other translation, you'll see that. But even that, like, look at that. Like, he's on his way to do one thing for one man who believed and couldn't even get to that without another person who believed just wanting to have a piece of him, just wanting to touch his fringes on his garment. And why? Because she had the faith that if she could do that, then her daughter would be healed, just like this man wants his daughter to be healed. So you're talking about not do people just believe. You're talking about an extreme faith and extreme belief that one man who said, "My daughter already dead, but if you come and put your hands on her, she's going to live." And this other one who said, "My daughter has a disease for 12 years, a disease of blood for 12 years. And if I just touch your garment, she's going to be good." Like, this is extreme evidence of people who have faith and belief on that this man who was prophesied to come, right?
Salakia for a second. Sister Tanya, man, the water for your super chat, man. I appreciate you continuing support. And also, we got a sister from Houston saying, watching from Houston, still no lights.
H-Town, yeah, that's crazy, man.
She said she still has no light, but I'm determined to hear this message. All praise, yeah,
that's crazy for sure, no doubt. I love you too, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, she said to herself, "If only I touch his cloak, I will get well." So and this is early. I still got a bunch more to go, but you see that we ain't talking about just regular, "Hey, I think old boy is good." No, you talking about people who had extreme belief that this was the Son of God, that this was the same Son of Man who was prophesied to come, and now he's right here before them. And the way they believe, they have no doubt that this is that guy, right? So what was that? Okay. So let me go to Matthew 20 and 16 through 19 now, right? G&T as well, because I was running through the G&T because I think some of these same verses I brought up before, even on my page, and the G&T, certain translations make it so not hard to understand, right? So this is Matthew 20 and 16 through 19 in the G&T, and it says, as Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside and spoke to them privately as they walked along. It says, "Listen," he told them, "we are going up to Jerusalem, where the Son of Man will be handed over to the who? To the chief priests and the teachers of the law." Right? So again, he letting you know the people he's going to be handed over to, it's not Israel as a whole. It's not, all the people who met him in these different places and followed him and sat down for hours, and thousands of people who sat to hear him speak. He says it real clear. It says, the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests, right? The rulers and the teachers of the law, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, right? And it says they will condemn him to death, not Israel as a whole, right? Israel as a whole didn't do this. This was the agenda of the rulership of Israel, and mainly because they feared what the Romans would do if they displayed how much they also believed that this was the guy prophesied to come, who was the real king of the Jews, if you will, right? They understood the problems that could come if the Romans viewed him the way that they viewed him, right? So again, it says, we are going up to Jerusalem, where the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death, right? So let me go to, I want to go to John 11:47.
Yeah.
Too.
Also, like, share, and subscribe, right? I'm not sure if I actually got in the title, man, so y'all can understand what my brother is explaining.
Okay.
What he's explaining is, did the Israelites actually reject Christ? Because what he's explaining, and like he was saying through his YouTube, a lot of Christians like to say the Jews rejected Christ.
Exactly.
And that's not true.
Right. And for that, we're done away with it now. It belongs to the church. And that's actually, supersessionism and replacement theology.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Replacement theology, supersessionism. Yeah.
Okay. So, right. And so that was my point, is that sometimes I see people say things and it just feels so asinine to me when there's so much evidence in the Bible that says how much Israel did believe on him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is John 11. I'm going to start at
Yeah, because I was going to pull John 11.
All right, so let's start. I'm gonna start at 46, right? So you can understand the context and see this is what the Pharisees.
No, start at 45.
All right, let's start at 45. Bet, cool. It says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. Right? I mean, you can't. So look, they seen what this guy doing. So even some of them who might have even doubted at first, they saw what he was doing. They said, no, this got to be the guy. This got to be him, right? This is Timothy right here, right? It says, the many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Right. So the Pharisees are seeing, based on the things that he's done, they're seeing or they're foreseeing the problems that's going to come with this. Right.
Right. Because let me and here go to Cole's point, right? Because what it's going to show you, the actual high priest of that time actually believed on it.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. So it says, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we do? For this man doeth many miracles. It says, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. Mm-hmm. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. So again, this is what it tells you right there, the whole thing that the Pharisees foresaw. It tells you the issue that they had with him being the man is that they was worried about the Romans coming and taking him. Because we got to understand that even when we're in captivity, it's not always, a harsh captivity during the whole time. So they was at peace with where they was at with their relationship with the Romans at that point in time. They didn't want things to get back rocky, right? So they was worried about, them coming and take away their place as the rulers of the Jews, of Jerusalem, of Israel, and their position, and just the nation as a whole, right?
Well, yeah, just to put it in modern terms, like a lot of Christian pastors believe what we're doing out there will affect them too.
We've heard people say it. Like, y'all gonna get everybody.
Y'all gonna get everybody messed up, right? We hear it all the time, right? Go ahead.
It says, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year,
the high priest, this is what the high priest is saying, right?
Said unto them, ye know nothing at all,
go ahead,
nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people and the whole nation perish not. So like he said, this is the high priest is telling you, y'all don't know nothing. This is that guy. Yeah. And this is the guy who's prophesied to come and die so that we as a nation even have a chance. And y'all worried about them coming and taking away the nation. He's supposed to die so us as a nation even got a shot.
Yeah, because what is he explaining to these people? He's explaining to the Pharisees, you don't understand Isaiah 53. This is the guy that has to.
Y'all act like y'all do, but it's right here in your face, and y'all don't want to, Y'all don't want to acknowledge it, right? It says, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. Right? And it says, and this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation.
He prophesied, meaning this was the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost that was on him, telling him, no, this is the guy, right? Keep going.
And that was his whole purpose, right? And it says, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad.
Which shows you he believed.
And also shows you that even those who are being gathered is the children of God who were scattered. Everybody wasn't scattered, right? So it just shows you too, even when you talk about who the children of God are, it's those people that were scattered, right? But that's another conversation. We can deal with that later. Let me go to Matthew 27. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Matthew 27, 20 real quick.
All right. Also, like, share, and subscribe, man. Like, share, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel.
So So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 27 and verse 20, right? And it says, but the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. It says right there, the chief priests, right? The rulers, the elders, right? The chief priests and the men who taught the law, as it said in the other verse, right? It says they persuaded the multitude that should ask Barabbas, that should save Barabbas and destroy Jesus. So it's telling you right now, it wasn't Israel as a whole. It's the leaders who's running this whole plot. It's the leaders who are behind this whole thing, right? Let me see. Let me go to John 4.
All right. But also, I got a few scriptures.
I bet.
Yeah, because his point is trying to show you that the actual Israelites did believe on Jesus, not this narrative that Christians are trying to push. Like, no, they all didn't believe on him. They forsake him. Now the promises go to us. No, right. So I'm gonna go to John 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 30. Right, and he says, as he spoke these words, many believed on him. Then said Jesus to the Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Can't make it no plainer than that, right?
Right.
This is John chapter 4, verse 39, right? And it says,
hey, you know what's so crazy? Because like last night I was in this 3-hour conversation with 2 Christian pastors. It just took forever.
Right.
He went to this scripture to try to show that that this verse shows that salvation is for everybody, right? But he didn't understand. He was speaking to believing Jews.
Absolutely. They don't understand about so many kinds. Just like I said, even with John 3:16, that's what's happening there. It's him talking to a leader of Israel and explaining to that leader of Israel that whosoever out of us Israelites believed on him should have everlasting life, right? Yeah. But I'll go to that later too. But let me see, John 4 and 39, right? It says, and it's funny because even when we talk about the woman at the well, right, the Samaritan woman at the well, we prove all the time that she was an Israelite, right? Right. Okay, it says, 4 and 39 says, and many of the Samaritans, right, the Israelites, right, of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, he told me all that I ever did, right? So this is talking about the woman at the well, right? And we talk about, her being an Israelite because she talks about our father.
Yeah, she explains it.
Right, she explained it, right? Our father, Abraham, right? And it says right there, I didn't want to go through the whole account because there's a couple other verses I want to go to, but I went to the part that's important, right? And it says, and many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, he told me all that I ever did, right? So again, I mean, another incident, we done went through about 6 already, and we just getting started, but another incident of people believing on him, right? So let's go to John. Let me go John 6 and 2. All right, this is John 6, verse 2. It says, and a great multitude, all right, matter of fact, we started 1, right? It says, after these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and a great multitude followed him because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. And Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. When Jesus then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company, right? So I already said a great multitude followed him. And then when he lifted up his eyes, even more people had gathered. It says, when Jesus lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come unto him, he saith unto Philip, whence shall we buy bread that these may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 penny worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. And when you get into this, right, you talking about 5,000. When the numbers it, let's go down to 10, right? It says, and Jesus said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number about 5,000, right? So you're talking about 5,000 people. That's not a small number of people, right? 5,000 people, and it started when he got on that side of the mountain and kept walking. And like he said, he looked up, and there was even more people had gathered and was drawn to him, right? So he fed 5 people and taught 5,000, fed 5,000 and taught 5,000 that day, right? So again, more people who believe. That's a lot of people. I mean, I go to a concert right now. 5,000 still it's a good number. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It ain't 20, but it's a good number. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Let me see. Let's go to let me go to 6 and 14. Matter of fact, go to 15. Right. It says this is John 6 and 14. It says, then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, this is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. That prophet that should come into the world. So again, they understood the prophecy. They understood that this prophet would come into the world, and they said, this is of a truth that this is him. There you go. They weren't questioning it. You're not talking about people who, like I said, believed a little bit. They was like, no, this is the truth. No, this is that guy, right? And it says, when Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. So it shows you that they believed so much they was ready to kidnap him and force him to be king, right? That's not somebody that you got a small amount of belief in. You believe this that guy so much that you willing to kidnap him, to take him and make him be king starting now. You know what I'm saying?
That's so cold.
That's cold, like for real. That's how much they believe. You know,
they said this is the guy. We're making him king.
Grab
right
that nigga.
That's what Pilate put on his crucifixion.
Come.
This is
the king of the Jews. Come. Let me go to this is John 7 and 31, right? It says, and many of the people believed on him and said, when Christ cometh, will he do more miracles than these which this man have done? So they were saying again, if y'all don't believe this is Christ, well, when this Christ comes, because y'all seem to not see it, is he going to possibly be able to do more than this man has done? No, this got to be Christ. You're not going to find another dude who's done more than what he did. That's how they was looking at it, right? So again, more people who just believe, right? Let me go to Mark 8 and 31, because this is good for making that point too.
Yeah. For the person who put in the chat, Salakia, were the Pharisees and the Sadducees true Israelites or Amalek? No, those are Israelites.
Right. Israelite rulers, teachers. They taught the law. They knew the law like the back of their hand. They just didn't keep the law.
Yeah. Just to get a scripture, let me back on what he's just saying, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Do not. So yes, listen, we understand that. Like when you look at Psalm 147 and 19, when it says, he gave the law to us, to Israel, like to be a teacher of this law, to be a prophet of this law, to be a teacher of God, a teacher of Israel, whatever term you want to call it, you had to be an Israelite, right? This wasn't left for other people to do this work. So for them to be Sadducees and Pharisees, they had to be Israelites, right?
Yeah. Like sis, so you don't get caught up because she said I heard they was Amalek pretending to be Israelites. No, no, that happens later down the line. At this time, no, these are Israelites. Don't get it twisted. Now, at that time, you had Herod, you had Drusilla, like you had a couple of them pretending to be us, but not predominantly.
Even some Ishmael at that time.
Ishmael too,
yeah. So this is Mark 8 and 31, right? To me, you can't get no clearer than this one, right? It says, and he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. So he taught them himself that the people who's going to reject me, the people who's going to make sure that I suffer these things and who I'm going to be delivered to, the elders, right? Rulership of Israel, and of the chief priests, rulership of Israel, and the scribes, right? The scribes, same thing, the same group of people, right? The people who ran Israel, who taught the law, all those things, right? He said himself, this is what I'm gonna be delivered to. So I'm gonna read that verse again, because it's just like I said, this is him telling, this is what he taught himself, right? It says, and he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. So people gotta understand too, when you say, we rejected him, so then God rejected us, this was all prophesied to happen. This is what Caiaphas was trying to tell the Pharisees. Like, Y'all know nothing. Y'all don't get that this has to happen for y'all to even, for us as a nation to even have a chance. This has to happen, right? Because God had turned his back on us. Caiaphas understood that this sacrifice had to happen for us to even have a shot to be one with our own God again, right? To be reconciled back to our own God, right? Let me see. What another one I wanna get? Let's do Matthew 21 too, right? Let's do that stone.
Like, I get what you're saying. So she said, "So who is the synagogue of Satan?" It's don't get it twisted. It is
that is Emily, right?
That is them,
right?
But you got to also understand
and that's in Revelation when we speak about that. So, like you said, that happens a little further down the line, right? This is Matthew, verse 21. Chapter 21, verse 42, right? It says, Jesus saith unto them, did ye never read in the scriptures, right? The stone which the builders rejected. So once again, he's talking about the prophecies about himself. He's talking about it being prophesied that he would come and him being rejected by the builders, by the leadership of Israel. This is literally out of his own mouth, right? He says, did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes, right? So he let you know all of this was prophesied because this is what the Most High wanted to happen. Like the Bible said, it pleased him to bruise his son, right? He understood, he set this up the whole time that his son would have to come and get us out of this mess that we created. So you can't feel a certain way about the things that even the leadership did because they did what they was prophesied to do, right? They like I said, at the time, some of them didn't realize that he was that guy, but some of them absolutely did. So you can't even say the whole leadership, that the leadership as a whole rejected him. But yes, a certain faction of the leadership rejected him, absolutely. But even that, like I said, you can't give them 100% of that blame either, right? But again, it's prophecy, right? These things had to happen. There would be no nation of Israel without this happening, right?
You talking about how he have to die,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and just so you can understand the prophecy, I'm gonna grab it, right? This is Isaiah 53 and verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth, and he was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. Right. So he had to die for our sins.
And like, what's funny is that he understood it too. And that's why we say all the time, that he's not the Most High God, because even though he understood it too, he didn't necessarily want to go through all of that. But he understood it was prophecy.
Well, right? the fact that he had to learn.
Right.
Because it says Jesus had to learn and he increased in learning. That shows he's not the Most High God. He was just already at it.
That too. Right. So I want to go to John 3:16 just for a second, right? Because like I said, I think people need to understand. If they understood this concept a little better, then you can understand what's happening in John 3:16. He's talking to the leadership of Israel about how, even them, those leaders who are rejecting him, if they don't believe on him, they won't receive eternal life. That's why he's talking to Nicodemus in this way. And that's why it's important to understand he's talking to a expert in the law of the Jews. He's talking to Nicodemus, who's a leader and an expert, right? So here we go, right? This is John 3:16, right? It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. What did John 11:47 talk about, right? That's why it's saying should not perish. Why? Because it said that he had to come and die so the nation of Israel would not perish. That's why this is what's being addressed in John 3:16. Because again, he's talking to Nicodemus, who's a ruler of the Jews, right? Who he was trying to make, even though Nicodemus believed on him, he was saying to him, like basically saying, listen, if the rest of your buddies don't get him on board, they're not going to receive what it is they think they're looking for. If they don't get on board and believe on me, they won't have this everlasting life. If they don't get on board and believe on me, then That's why I said again, when he died, so that one nation. That's why it says, believers in him should not perish. Because just like John 11:47 says, what that he had to perish, that he had to die, so that the whole nation would perish not. Right. So that's what's going on in John 3:16. He's literally talking to those builders who rejected the stone. That's who he's talking to. Right. I wanted to go back to Matthew. Matter of fact, let me see. There's something else I want to do before I go do that. Okay, right. So again, right. I think it's interesting, right? When people say that basically because we rejected him, when again all this was prophesied to happen, that because we rejected him, then we've been rejected, right? So let's go into a few things that just kind of disproves that as well, right? This is Isaiah 41:8 in the GNT. It says, "But you, Israel, my servant, you are the people that I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend. I brought you from the ends of the earth. I called you from its farthest corners and said to you, you are my servant." It says, "I did not reject you, but chose you." Like, you can't get no clearer than that. He's telling you right here, this is the Most High speaking, right? We understand what's happening in the Torah and the Tanakh, and we understand that thus saith the Lord. That's where you're going to find it at. Well, where's Isaiah, right? Right here. I'm going to read it again because it can't get no clearer than that. It says, "But you, Israel, my servant, you are the people that I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend." It says, "I brought you from the ends of the earth. I called you from its farthest corners and said to you, you are my servant. I did not reject you, but chose you." Right? It says, "Do not be afraid. I am with you. I am your God. Let nothing terrify you. I will make you strong and help you. I will protect you and save you." Like, it don't get no clearer than that. He said, "I have not rejected you, but I have chose you." Right? So when people say that because we reject him, which we already proved that we as a whole didn't reject him anyway, but when people use that argument and he says right here in a verse like that, that I have not rejected you, I have chose you. I mean, and again, that's thus saith the Lord, right? You can't get no clearer than that, right? I'm gonna go to something else in Isaiah 2. This is Isaiah 44:21 in the GNT as well, right? It says, "The Lord says, Israel, remember this. Remember that you are my servant. I created you to be my servant, and I will never forget you." Again, how can you reject us? And if he's saying right here, he will never forget us. He'll never leave us. We will never not be his chosen. He chose us and did not reject us, right? Again, so let's go to Jeremiah, right? A few more of these. I'm gonna let my brother get into what he want to get into.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right.
No, Lisa, who said is that red letter? Sis, you got to I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Some of what we read was red letter.
Yeah,
which ones?
Yeah, you got to be specific. Of course, Isaiah is not the red letter.
No, that's just, but it is thus saith the Lord.
Yeah, thus saith the Lord.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, this is Jeremiah 31:35 through 36 in the GNT. It says, "The Lord provides the sun for light by day, the moon and the stars to shine at night. He stirs up the sea and makes it roar. His name is the Lord Almighty. He promises that as long as the natural order lasts," right? Meaning, as long as he is in control of those things he just talked about, right? The sun for a light by day, the moon to shine at night, the moon to shine at night. It says he stirs up the sea and makes it roar. As long as he controls those things, which he will never not control those things, but as long as he does that, what does it say? It says, he promises that as long as the natural order lasts, right, the natural order that he created to be in those ways, right? He promises that as long as the natural order lasts, so long it will be a nation. So he's saying as long as he controls those things, we will always be a nation. We are not done away with. Right? We have not been rejected. We have not been done away with. We have not been left behind. And again, that's the importance of Christ coming in the first place. Christ came so that it would be possible for us to be reconciled back to our God. So the plan was never to be like, F Israel. It was never that, right? Yeah. Let me see. What else I want to go to? Right. It says he promises that as long as the natural order lasts, so long will Israel be a nation. If one day the sky could be measured and the foundation of the earth explored, only then would he reject the people of Israel because of all they have done. So again, even with all we have done, he says he still ain't gonna reject us. So you can't say that what we did was reject him. That's part of all we have done. And he said, even with all we have done, unless he don't control the moon, the stars, the sun, the rivers, the oceans, unless he don't control those things, even with all we've done, we will not be done away with.
Yeah, hold on for a second. I know if somebody put buffering, are we still buffering? Put ones in the chat if we good yet.
Man, my bad.
No, you are good. Put ones in the chat if we still good, because I see somebody put buffering. Just to make sure. All praise. So we good?
We good?
All right, good.
I got a couple more, right? Let me see. This is Jeremiah 33. I'm gonna start at 23, right? And it says, excuse me. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, right? That northern kingdom, that southern kingdom, right? The two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. So he's saying right here, consider thou not, right? What the people are saying that he's cast off those two families. It says, thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. It says, thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, same thing he was saying in the other verses, right? And if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David, my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. So it's saying a couple things, right? That as long as he is the Lord in control of all those things, that when we get out of this last captivity, it won't return on us, number one. But number two is saying that he didn't cast that northern kingdom and that southern kingdom away, right? It says that as long as he has control over the appointed ordinances of heaven and earth, it says, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob. But we know that can never happen. There is no scenario where the Most High won't control the ordinances of heaven and earth. No scenario whatsoever. So we can never be cast away because he didn't cast us away. Bottom line, right? Let me see. Let's go to Romans. It's one of my favorite, and it's too easy and simple to get.
Somebody are the supernatural claims in the Bible real? Yes, they're absolutely real.
Absolutely.
It's called a miracle.
Absolutely. And then, like, even when you look at things like the flood, right? It's evidence of that all over the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all these cultures have the quote unquote flood story.
Facts.
All right.
Right. So this is Romans 11, right? It says, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. Everybody loves Paul. We love our brother Paul as well. But with the weight that y'all put on Paul, when it comes to something like this, it's clear as day. And put that same weight on him making a statement like this, right? It says, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Wot ye not what the scripture saith of Elijah, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone and and they seek my life. But what saith answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. So bottom line is, he told you off the top, God forbid. He said, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. Then he tells you that he's an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, right? And then the very next verse, he says again, God hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Right, so we understand the Israelites are those people, those prophets who was formed in the womb, the people who he knew aforetime, the people who are going to be the justified, the glorified, who are going to receive these same people. He never cast them away. That would go against the promises. That would go against all the things that he promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right, so there's nothing, like the other verse said, like unless he loses control of those things, even with all that we have done wrong, we won't be cast away. We can't be cast away. Because he decided that we can't. Not of any thing that we've done, right? Not any fault of our own, but we can't be cast away because he decided we can't be cast away, right? So that's that. I just wanted to go to that because, like I said, when I be surfing these channels, I always see a Christian channel say something. I'm like, sometimes it's hard for me to understand why so many people can believe when there's so many verses that go against those different beliefs that people say in the Christian church. I don't get it. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, it's even more I can go through, but those are the main ones I wanted to get for today. So.
Yeah. So, and the only thing I'm gonna let me back off of, right? Just the book of Revelations, right? So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12. And this is dealing with the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the 12 gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Yeah.
So literally the second to last chapter of the Bible.
Right. The end of it all.
The end of it all.
It says it's them 12 tribes, them same people.
It's still the same people, which shows you what Christ, they never rejected them. Christ died for these people, and it's gonna always be about the children of Israel. Man. You was done with your little.
Yeah, that's all I want to go through for now. You know what I'm saying?
So, as far as the second part is the Terminator or the Matrix about Israel, I'm gonna go into it. But if anybody got any questions, man, take a I'm gonna give y'all like 5 minutes, man. Go ahead and put your questions in right now before we go to the other one. All right.
There's something you want me. You want for the.
No, I'm gonna give him a second, then I'm gonna do the little Terminator thing.
Right.
So if you got because if you got any questions, put it in the chat. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link in there. I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Who put why would he be accepted? I don't get it. I'll put a link in the chat, man. If y'all got any questions, put it in there, or you can come up and ask us yourself. So I'll give it a second, man. Also, like, share, and subscribe, man. Like, share, and subscribe. You got any questions before we go to the second part of this thing? Because what happened is I actually looked on my brother Instagram, and he had this post, and I was like, man, that's pretty good. Because I always heard about it, but to hear it out of the director's mouth, it really makes you think about it.
The writer, right?
Because the person who wrote The Matrix and the Terminator, she said all of it is really one thing, right?
Right. She said the Terminator was the prequel to the Matrix.
Yeah, she said the Terminator is a prequel to the Matrix, right? So, of course, once he put it in, I said, man, I gotta find this.
Right. She said Sarah Connor was the mama of Neo.
Yeah. Right? So she said Sarah Connor,
Jesus Christ. Right.
Because I think his name is James Connor or something.
Connor, right? And she said basically
that's Jesus.
The Neo was the second coming of her. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I'm like, no, I'm finna play it, and
she's
finna get into it. But
it's crazy. And we talked about that one of our first weeks. How even when you look at stuff like that, number one is written by a black woman, and before she even got in depth, and they just asked her, "Where'd you get this from?" She said the Bible. Yeah. And then she went to a little more in depth in what he's about to show you. But
yeah, so I got the video, but I'm trying to give y'all a chance to ask y'all questions, or even come up and on the live and ask us the question in person, or sort of say over the internet waves, of course. But before we go into this, because I hate when people be asking questions in the middle. I answer y'all questions, but so I'll give y'all a second. Also, like, share, and subscribe. All right, I'm gonna get. All right, it don't look like nobody got nothing to say.
Well, that's a good thing, bro.
Y'all can have a questions about his lesson right quick, or anything in general.
Okay.
Oh, he wants us to whoever K is. He wants to. Is it a way to verify them or demonstrate them?
To demonstrate who?
Well, he's talking about the miracles in the Bible.
I mean,
look, matter of fact,
it just depends on which ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though, when we're talking about even the flood, but the Dead Sea, right? There's this video on YouTube where these archaeologists, whatever.
Where they found
They go out. They found the chariots. They found
yeah,
swords and shields at the bottom of the Dead Sea, and a great number of them. Which they even like, how could all this get to the bottom of the sea like this?
Yeah, and I think Noah's Ark is found in, I want to say Turkey.
Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat. If you can type, let me see, you can type that in. It's on there. Type in Noah's Ark and Mount Ararat and watch what comes up. They're gonna show you how it landed, and it tells you that it landed in Ararat.
Yeah.
And if you type in Mount Ararat, you'll see Noah's Ark on the very top of it.
Yeah, it's in the mountains.
How could any other ship get to the top of a mountain? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
Type in Mount Ararat after ship, because I think I've typed it in just like that before. There you go. Google Earth.
Google Earth?
I think that's it.
Let's see if they got the image.
The images, right? The closer one.
Here, there we go.
That one is the best one, you asked me.
This one?
Go back one page. Like that.
You talking about this?
Yeah. Like.
Hold on. I'll finish sharing my screen. All right, so this is Noah's Ark.
Right.
So if you go to Mount Ararat.
Yep. Mount Ararat, Noah's Ark, you'll see it.
You'll see
that aerial view.
So this is where the archaeologists have found Noah's Ark.
And the Bible is that accurate. The Bible said that it landed on Ararat, in Ararat. I mean, that's
that's cold.
You can't get clearer than that.
Yeah. And even right now, the Euphrates is drying up.
Right, come.
So yeah, it's now if you asking me to go walk on water or turn water,
right? How can you prove that? You know what I'm saying?
All right, come on. What did you say? I'm just getting in here. Can I get a backdrop? He was just like the first part of the lesson. He was saying, did the Israelites actually reject Christ? And he went through multiple precepts to show you that the Israelites actually believed on him.
A lot.
It was really the leadership that had to be taken out of place because they didn't want to lose it.
And I got that verse for Noah's Ark, though, if you want it real quick.
Go ahead.
It says, this is Genesis 8:4. It says, then in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat. So it's just crazy. You type in Mount Ararat and you see the silhouette of Noah's Ark.
Hey, man, crazy. One thing I'm gonna tell y'all right now. One thing about that white man, if he see it in the Bible, he's finna go try to find it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
To prove or disprove it.
Right, God.
All right. All right, cool. If you don't believe it's the Noah's Ark, I don't. Okay.
Go type in the Dead Sea, the things that they found in the bottom of the Dead Sea, the shields, the swords, the different things that when the Most High swallowed up the Egyptians. It's many things, but yeah, you can say you don't believe whatever. But
okay,
right. The Most High ain't making it like that kind of clear like that. Like some of it, you gotta understand what's going on.
Yeah. Like the thing is, whoever K is, whether you believe it or not, brother, that has no bearing on me. So
it's aside right quick.
Aside.
So what up? He said right now, yeah, that's what live mean.
Yeah,
it's my guy, man.
Man, tripping, bro.
Shout out to Hassad and Deacon, man.
Yeah, we're right after Hassad and Deacon, and they're gonna call and be like, "Are y'all on live?" Yes. Yes. No, it's an interesting one, man. Hey, let every man be convinced in their own mind, brother. I guess nobody has any question. Let me go into this the second part of it, right? Of this one. Because it's this black lady, right? And she created Terminator in the Matrix. But the thing is, she got it from the Bible.
Right.
And I think it's a very interesting one, or interesting concept that she put in theatrical form. Somebody said he got a lot of questions on the flood. Guess what? I don't have a lot of time, so.
You're stupid.
All right. So this is the woman who created the Matrix, right? And she also created the Terminator, right? But she based it off the Bible.
Right.
So we finna get into it, right?
The beast. You know, people like to watch movies
Fair use.
because Marvel, they love heroes and sheroes, and they love that scene in Gladiator and Braveheart. They love those scenes, you know. People like warriors. And I want to tell you, my sister, there's Warrior Sophia.
Oh, thank you.
I want to tell you something. You've been in a fight, but you know how to fight. I'm just so happy to have you on. We're here in Las Vegas, in our Las Vegas studio. And when Anthony was telling me he booked you for the show, I said, it's Terminator time, baby. It's Terminator time. It is Terminator. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Anything resonated with you that you've been listening to?
I loved it when you were talking about the fight. It reminded me of Muhammad Ali. He was a very, very great friend of mine. And the Neo character is actually created from him being a black superhero for us, a living one at that time, you know, the late Muhammad Ali. Right. So that's why Will Smith.
No, but it was finna go to Will Smith. She finna explain it.
Wow. That's what it should have went to. Shit.
No, look right here.
Good. Oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. No,
Will Smith, why I turned down the Matrix?
Right,
you should have did the Matrix.
Right. She should explain all that to him.
Yeah.
Smith, they wanted Will to play him because, you know, Will played Ali in the movie with Spike Lee's, you know, the Muhammad Ali story.
You know, so listen, obviously the thing that I'm going to enjoy about this conversation with you today is that people talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, but you embody all those things.
Yes.
All those things. Where does that come from? I mean, you are a living example why STEM is so important. There's so many things that you understand about the cosmos, the universe, about math, about technology, about engineering, and also because that's what the Matrix is about.
Yes, it is. It came out with the first metaphysical movies, you know, where you take science and you marry it to spirituality. So it's spirit and technology. That's what metaphysics is really about.
But where does it come from in your DNA? Your grandparents?
Well, my grandmother, full-blooded Cherokee, she was a shaman. So the oracle is actually created from me. I created those characters, and it's based on myself as a visionary seer. So I have a gift, but multiple gifts.
So how did you come up with the Terminator? Take us there in the Matrix and just to put this from pen to pad. Now, it's one thing to have the idea, but to take that.
It's very easy. It was a script in a book. The Terminator is the prequels to the beginning of the Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. The Matrix is in the future. The Terminator is the past. It's time travel, past, present, and future time travel. It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So the machines, the Terminator machines, hear that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man.
But if you take away the man, it's a child that's going to be born. But in the future, he's going to terminate them.
Right.
It's exactly what we're saying.
Facts.
It was a child that was born 2,000 years ago that's going to come back and terminate all our problems.
Yeah.
Because see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which
Is what?
It's crazy. Man.
Bow, bow, bow,
She
bow,
was
bow.
on it. She was on it for real.
She
That's
said
crazy.
it's God's children versus man's children, right? Let's play that back.
machines here that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. Because see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which was technology.
So man versus nature.
Exactly. So the Terminator has the time travel to the past.
But that's so cool. That's what we're dealing with right now. She put it in the form of like, if anybody understands, anybody who's creative, they're gonna always switch it up, right? But she's basically saying it's God's children versus man's children.
Right.
We are the children of God, and who are we versus the world?
Right.
The children of men.
Come.
But we are waiting for.
I got a precept too.
Bring it up.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 20 through 21 in the GNT. It says, God says, I am calling together all the kings of the earth to come from north, south, east, and west to turn back and restore what they have taken. I will pay them back with the same harsh treatment they have always given to my chosen people. Those children of God versus those children of men.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
We're gonna keep going. That's
But
cool.
they know it's Sarah Connor, and they have to kill her, terminate her, so she won't have the baby. And Kyle Reed.
The same thing with Herod.
Right. Right.
It's the
Right.
same thing with Herod.
Right.
Right. Let's get it, right?
You want me to read it? What you want?
We're talking about Herod. This is Matthew 2. Yep. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from east of Jerusalem, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get to the point, right?
Right.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13. And when they had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. It's the exact same thing she said.
Right. They try to do the John Connor and Neo. Like, same thing. God.
He comes from the future to protect her, and he inadvertently gets her pregnant. And he has to go back to the future. And so it's the Immaculate Conception, because now she's pregnant and she fell in love with a man. But
of course, we don't deal with Immaculate Conception, but
from what she like,
which is crazy because he had a father just like Jesus had a father.
Right, really though. Even her idea that Immaculate Conception is more like it really was.
Yeah, like he had a father too.
God.
He was just from the future.
Did it really happen? Did he exist? And then this child, when you see the three Terminators, the boy, and then the man child, subconsciously, he doesn't know why the Terminator is trying to kill him until he's hidden out in the city, in the Matrix, the future. When he reaches 30 years of age, the rebellion, the reloaded, revolution starts. And the rebels come and they find him because they've been watching him all along. That's what the Guardians and the Sentinels are all about. And so they wake him up to his purpose. They take him to Morpheus to train him to fight the machines. They take him to the Oracle because of the prophecy. So this is the whole epic story. It's an epic.
The oracles of God, just like how we went to Isaiah 53 about the prophecies of Christ.
Hold up.
How we have to die for us.
Crazy. And then look at this though.
Go ahead. Well, just like how in Isaiah 53, how he had to die for the children of Israel, it's the same thing she's explaining.
Right. But then, like she said, right, the oracles, right? This is Romans 3:1. It says, what advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Exactly.
So, like, like you said, she may be kind of ignorant on certain things, but at the same time, like she on it though too.
She on it. Like once he hit 30, that's
right.
when the salvation
It's
started.
crazy. It's
And then
crazy.
she said that's when the
It
revolution
woke him up to his purpose, right? Yeah.
That's when the revolution started.
That's crazy.
And it's some deep stuff. You know what it brings me to? See, you're the best person to ask, explain where we are today. President Trump, the Congress, the seemingly chaos. You look at this entirely different. You see it as a part of a bigger plan that was laid out some time ago.
In the future.
Yes, talk about
It's the
it. Put it
future.
in perspective for us.
Well, the mergings of the corporations. I'm talking about that in 1981 while I'm at USC Film School, where the corporations are going to eat up and merge with the smaller corporations. It's like what they're doing now.
Walmart
And AT&T
yeah.
taking Time Warner and Disney taking Fox, but that's because streaming is coming in. The studio's time has ended. Everything manually has ended. Now, like the ebook, like streaming, you don't have any overhead.
Because you keep talking about the machine, but the machine can be equated to America.
Right. They said Amazon just fired like what 30,000 people or something like that for machines to take their jobs. I mean, it's crazy. Like she on it for sure.
You can make,
and so Cole, you can tell this is an old interview. Like I want to say maybe the beginning of Trump presidency, maybe middle.
It's crazy.
But Joe Biden is about to end his.
It's crazy.
trillions and billions of dollars. So you don't need to go to a movie theater and sit there and watch a movie anymore when you can have all this at your house. And you can watch any movie and you can watch it 10 or 20 times and you have surround sound or Dolby or whatever you want. So you don't have to go. The theaters will be just a specialty for someone who especially want a date or something and pay $150 to come in and watch a movie of their choice, while they're being wined and dined with food and so forth. But that's all going out, the way it is now, like how we go to it's empty now, all the theaters are. In the studios, they don't understand what streaming is. And this is why Amazon is worth $147 billion and Netflix is so wealthy. And AT&T is going to be a big streamer also, but they need content. So this is why they bought Time Warner, so they can take this content and feed their clients, their customers. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So this is what's going to happen in the future. When the satellites come in, this is when it's going to be trillions of dollars, because the satellites is 7 billion people on Earth. The satellites can zoom into all of the countries and get all of these people to watch, what I'm talking about, on their tablets, on their iPhones, iPads. You know what I'm talking about?
So why? Because this plays into why this sudden mental change on Facebook. Where is Facebook now a threat where they need to regulate them and shut them down?
Facebook is nothing but a database for the CIA. That's all it is.
I agree. I agree. So y'all put too much information on the internet. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now.
She told a lot.
Y'all are putting entirely too much information on the internet.
It has all of your family's pictures, all of your friends. It has all the information. They used it here in Vegas when they had that car accident. Remember when the Maserati right by the Cromwell? When that happened right there? Well, all they did was take camera footage from Caesars, Bally's, and other casinos, and they went and they took this footage and they got the license plates, and then they saw that the guy did, California. He rented that Range Rover, and after they did that, they went to social network and they found his girlfriend on Twitter, and they found his picture, and then they went to LA because they knew they were from LA. Put his picture on a $250,000 billboard and put a reward up for him for $25,000. And they got him within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, because of the technology.
So how do you advise people to share their image, their data?
There's not going to be any more privacy. Everything is camera down. Everything is caught on camera. And this is what it's going to be about in the future. Virtual reality that I'm explaining in The Matrix and Terminator. Everything is going to be, so now it's going to be so easy. You're not going to have any more paper passports. It's just going to be where you come into the airport. They're going to scan you, your body, retinal, finger.
She's explaining this, but what she don't realize, what she's actually is explaining, is the mark of the beast.
All right. Thanks.
This is the mark of the beast. She's really explaining. She doesn't know this concept. All right. Like, so I'm gonna just grab. Let me grab this, right? All right. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 14, right? And deceive them that dwelled on the earth by the means of their miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound, which was wounded by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark of the to receive the mark in their right hand or in their forehead. What is that dealing with? The RFID chip.
Right.
She's explaining this, but she's not realizing what she's explaining. Right.
Fingerprints, the whole 9 yards.
This is what clear is about.
That's right.
Airport, that's what
and
clear. Yeah.
This way, nobody has to alter paper and put a picture or a name on there, because they have your bone structure, they have your eyes, they got your fingerprints. This is the database, and they match you up. You see what I'm saying? And you go through. So that way no terrorists can come through and pretend to be somebody or somebody that they're looking for that's the most wanted. You see what I'm saying? Because all of this.
It's crazy because when you watch The Matrix, that's what the dudes in the black suits was doing. They understood that Neo and them was waking people up out of the Matrix. They was waking people up so that when it came to something like the chip, that they would be smart enough to understand this ain't something good for us. So that's why they was coming around trying to kill Neo and them in the first place, because they was unplugged from the Matrix, and that's what their goal was to get people as a whole to be same, to think the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Like, don't get it twisted, right? Neo in this movie is supposed to be a Christ-like figure, but Neo is also like us, right?
Right.
Meaning we're out here in the Matrix trying to wake our people up to let them understand you are still stuck in a Matrix.
And then when you think about, the powers he ended up getting, the more he woke. Think about the spiritual powers. Same thing with like the Avengers stuff. We always talk about that, but it's the same concept. The Bible tells you that who's gonna get those spiritual powers? That 144,000 Israelite men. It's the same. It's the same concept. You know what I'm saying? The more that they woke up, the more he woke up, the more powerful he got. You know what I'm saying?
And the more he woke up, the more powerful he got, and the more people he started to wake up.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. As long as you black, each and every one of us, as long as we keep waking up, another one's gonna wake up. Another one's gonna wake up, and this system or this matrix will fall. And
I got another one for her point about the children of God and the children of men.
Go ahead.
This is 2 Esdras 15 and 52 in the GNT. It says, I would not punish you so severely, says the Lord, if you had not murdered my chosen people. But you took great delight in striking them. And when you were drunk, you boasted about killing them. It says, paint your face. You will be paid back for your work as a prostitute. You will get what you have earned. I will pay you back, says the Lord, for what you have done to my chosen people. I will bring disaster on you. You will be put to death, and your children will starve. Your cities will be torn down, and the people out in the countries will be killed. So he's telling you right there what that destruction is coming is all about. What you've done to his chosen people. That's what she's talking about. The children of God against the children of men.
And how the Neo or the Christ is going to come back and destroy all this, right? Shout out to Mel the Pharisees, man. The water for your donation, King. All right, we want to keep going.
Yeah, we can.
Technology is going to start ruling. It's artificial intelligence. It's going to start ruling everything. Once the satellites come into play that I'm talking about, there's maybe another 5 to 10 years from now, they're really going to play a phenomenal part, because this is why Apple and Microsoft became the billion-dollar, trillion-dollar babies, is because IBM and Xerox didn't know what a mouse was. A mouse meaning they didn't know what the internet was going to be. You see what I'm talking about? They didn't want to move into that technology. The studios don't know what streaming is. They got pissed off because Netflix paid $50 million and got 3 or 4 Oscars for the movie Roma, but it was never shown in the movie theaters at all.
Great.
It was watched.
And that's why Steven Spielberg and all of it. You know, when we come back,
Yes.
I'm going to have some of my crew to join you, my technical people,
Not the
the superhero. We mentioned when you were coming on, your loss.
I got a couple more verses I want to bring out because I just think it's too interesting what she's saying, man.
Go in, bro.
And you know, just her like you said, I mean, just her even equating this to the children of God versus children of men. And you know, when you look at that power structure, we understand who runs this world, right? We ain't got to say it, right? So there's a couple of verses I want to bring to both of those, right? So first, on that power structure, right? This is Lamentations 4:21 through 22. It says, "Laugh on, people of Edom and Uz." It says, "Be glad while you can. Your disaster is coming too. You too will stagger naked in shame. Zion has paid for her sin. The Lord will not keep us in exile any longer, but Edom, the Lord will punish you. He will expose your guilty deeds," right? This is 2 Maccabees 7:31 in the GNT. It says, "You have thought up all kinds of cruel things to do to our people, but you won't escape the punishment that God has in store for you." It says, "It is true that our living Lord is angry with us and is making us suffer because of our sins in order to correct and discipline us. But this will last only a short while, for we are still his servants," just like the earlier lesson, right? Yep. "For we are still his servants, and he will forgive us. But you are the cruelest and most disgusting thing that ever lived. So don't fool yourself with illusions of greatness while you punish God's people. There is no way for you to escape the punishment at the hands of the Almighty and all-seeing God." I mean,
good Lord.
You can't get no harder than that, bro.
My man bringing Excalibur out here, boy. That man is swinging a big sword, Paul. Paul.
That's for you, Kodash.
Good Lord.
You already know.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, give me a little more.
Suits and the battles you've had to fight, and you've just won in Utah.
Yes.
But it's always a battle for you.
No, she's talking about the battle, her.
They be trying her rights and stuff to the
yeah, with her checking her rights and stuff, man. So
yeah, we good on that.
Yeah, we good on that, man.
But I mean, it's still amazing. The number one, everything she got it from the Bible, right?
Yeah.
A black woman wrote these. You talking about 2 franchises that are billion-dollar plus franchises, like, and they written by a black woman who said her main inspiration was the Bible. And not only was it her main inspiration, she literally took pieces of the Bible and infused it in this story that the whole world has fallen in love with. Both of those stories, the Terminator franchise and the Matrix franchise. And the things that she's talking about is so biblical, and really it's the things that we talk about every week. You know what I'm saying? But you know, hey, she was in the spirit when she wrote those.
Yep, she was in the spirit. Somebody put, what translation was that?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah,
I think that was the GNT. Yeah, GNT.
You'll get the scripture again?
Yeah, let me see. This is 2 Maccabees 7:31 through 35 in the GNT. It says, "You have thought up all kinds of cruel things to do to our people, but you won't escape the punishment that God has in store for you." It says, "It is true that our living Lord is angry with us and is making us suffer because of our sins in order to correct and discipline us. But this will last only a short while, for we are still his servants, and he will forgive us. But you are the cruelest and most disgusting thing that ever lived. So don't fool yourself with illusions of greatness while you punish God's people. There is no way for you to escape the punishment at the hands of the Almighty and all-seeing God." Like, listen, man.
Yeah. And with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach, Yahweh Shah, and Shalom.
Shalom.